and Madeline, the children, need their mother. We need our daughter, our sister, our aunt, and our best friend.
Friday, March the 31st, 2023. A cool spring morning in Winona, Minnesota. The day started like any other for 26-year-old Maddie Kingsbury, a devoted mother, a hard-working professional, and a woman quietly preparing for a new chapter in her life. By 8 a.m., she and her longtime partner, Adam Fravel, dropped off their 2 young children at daycare. Security cameras captured her dark blue Chrysler Town and Country minivan pulling back into the driveway shortly after, and then she was gone. The Fillmore County community and surrounding areas are coming together to bring her home. When's the last time you heard from her, or anything like that? This morning when I last heard from her. I hugged her behind her and I said, "You don't want to end up with potato, do you?" And I know that looks really bad. At 8:20 p.m., the Winona Police Department was called and an investigation was launched. When officers arrived at her home, they found no signs of forced entry, no struggle, no indication that Maddie had left willingly. Even more unsettling, her phone, wallet, ID, and keys were all inside. Her minivan was still parked outside. Whatever had happened to Maddie, it happened fast. For more than 2 months, search teams combed the fields, rivers, and wooded areas surrounding Winona. Thousands of volunteers joined the effort, but the only thing they found was silence. Then, on June 7th, 2023, that silence was shattered. Roughly 46 miles south of Winona, along a remote stretch of highway in Fillmore County, human remains were discovered in a wooded area near the Mississippi River. The condition of the body suggested it had been there for weeks, exposed to the elements, hidden from sight. Investigators worked quickly, but deep down everyone feared what they already knew. 2 days later, on June 9th, 2023, the worst was confirmed. The remains belonged to Maddie Kingsbury, the missing mother, the woman whose face had become a haunting reminder of unresolved tragedy, had been found. But the discovery only led to more chilling questions. Who put her there? When? Why? As the investigation continued, the walls began closing in on one man. "Please help us find Maddie. The children need their mother. We need our daughter, our sister, our aunt, and our best friend back." Maddie Kingsbury was born on June 1st, 1996 in Winona, Minnesota. The youngest of 3 siblings, she grew up in a close-knit and loving family. Described as smart, kind, and full of life, Maddie had a sharp sense of humor and a strong work ethic that set her apart from an early age. She pursued her passion for public health at Winona State University, later securing a prestigious role at the Mayo Clinic as a clinical research coordinator. Ambitious and driven, she was also working toward a master's degree in public health administration to advance her career. But above all, Maddie was a devoted mother. Her 5-year-old daughter and 2-year-old son were her world. She was hands-on, nurturing, and determined to give them a bright future. Despite balancing work, school, and motherhood, she always put her children first. However, behind closed doors, Maddie's relationship with Adam Fravel, the father of her children, was far from perfect. Friends and family later revealed that Adam was controlling, manipulative, and emotionally abusive. Maddie had secretly begun searching for a new home, planning to leave him and start fresh. But she never got the chance. Friday, March 31st, 2023, started out as a normal morning. Maddie and Adam got up early, got their kids dressed, and headed out the door. By 8 a.m., they dropped the children off at daycare together. Security footage captured them exiting the minivan. Maddie standing beside the vehicle as Adam walked the children inside. At 8:15 a.m., Maddie's phone sent what would be her final text message. It was nothing out of the ordinary, just a routine response. But from that moment on, Maddie's voice would go silent. According to Adam, he and Maddie returned home together. He claims she told him she had a work meeting and that she planned to head to Rochester for the day, but by 10 a.m., Adam says she was simply gone. His version of events was simple. Maddie had left on her own, but there was one glaring problem. Her phone, wallet, keys, and ID were all still inside the house. Her car was still parked in the driveway. How could she have left with no means of transportation? That evening, after repeated unanswered calls, Maddie's family contacted the Winona Police Department. Officers arrived at her home and conducted a welfare check. They knocked, they searched, but there was no sign of Maddie, no sign of where she could have gone. And so, the search for Maddie Kingsbury began. I'm sure you're aware of what's all going on. Some people called about Maddie, a little concerned, and were just trying to get an idea of where she might be. Yeah. When's the last time you heard from her or anything like that? Yeah. So this morning when I last heard from her, so that's why, personally I wasn't very concerned yet. What time about was that? Probably around 10? But was she supposed to pick up the children today? Yes, usually. So we usually do drop-offs and pickups together. And, this morning we both did the drop-off and I couldn't get any response from her since before 10 or whatever. And I tried calling her. We usually pick up the kids around 4:15. And I tried calling her a bunch of times. I think 3:30 and like 35 and 4. And I didn't get any response. So I just picked up the kids myself. You know, anybody in town she might be with? Any clubs or organizations she's affiliated with? Not clubs or anything. Does she do it like a weekly thing, like a girls' night out or anything like that, usually? No, nothing like that. Anywhere else in town you think she might be at this time at night? No. Did she ever go to the bars at all? No, we were not drinkers at all. From the start, investigators zeroed in on Adam Fell. He was the last person to see Maddie alive. His story was inconsistent, his behavior was unusual, and something about his timeline didn't add up. I left the house around 10 and Colorado to bring some stuff down to my parents, and then when I came back home, I noticed that my car was still there. She was going to take my car to work today, and my car was still there, and, she wasn't there. That's the last I saw from her. And then I tried texting her, tried calling her, and I haven't heard anything since. And you had the van today, correct? Yep. And I only stepped down to my parents. Gotcha. And your car was still there and you now have your car, correct? Correct. So, does she usually ride with anybody to work, or is there anybody she could be with right now? She doesn't usually ride with anybody to work, but she has before. There was she had a couple co-workers in the so. That's what I figured she did. But I don't know. Adam told police that after Maddie left, he had taken her minivan to move some of his belongings to a storage unit. He said he returned home around 11:30 a.m., found the house empty, and assumed Maddie had gone to work. But what Adam didn't expect was that police would uncover surveillance footage that told a very different story. At 9:45 a.m., security cameras captured Adam switching the license plates on Maddie's minivan. It was a strange, calculated move, one that suggested he was trying to make the vehicle unrecognizable. Why would someone do that unless they had something to hide? Police also discovered a 45-minute gap in Adam's whereabouts that morning, a window of time when his location could not be accounted for. And when authorities searched Maddie's home, they found no evidence that she had left willingly. No packed bags, no travel plans, just a mother who had seemingly vanished into thin air. Are you any closer to finding a suspect or person of interest? Again, it's open and active. The leads that are coming in is unbelievable. We are actually getting hundreds of them. We have a lot of, information that we're trying to process right now to help do that. So, it continues to be open and active. As the investigation deepened, police began to uncover a history of abuse. Friends and family came forward, revealing that Adam had threatened Maddie before. He had once pinned her down and told her she would end up like Gabby Petito if she didn't listen. Maddie had confided in a friend texting. It wasn't funny. That's what sealed it for me. She was afraid of him. The evidence was piling up, but without a body, police couldn't yet make an arrest. All they could do was wait. For more than 2 months, search teams combed through fields, rivers, and wooded areas, hoping to find Maddie. Thousands of volunteers joined the effort, but there was nothing. Then, on June 7, 2023, police received a tip. A discovery had been made. Human remains were found near a wooded area in Phililmore County, roughly 46 miles from Maddie's home. The location was strategic, hidden, far from immediate suspicion, but law enforcement had been watching Adam's movements for weeks. They knew this area was familiar to him, and when the forensic results came in, the worst was confirmed. The remains belonged to Maddie Kingsbury. I'll ask again. Do you know where Maddie is? Did you have anything to do with her disappearance? I do not. Okay, I think you're dealing with a lot here. I think you've been dealing with a lot here. You have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old together, I think. Something happened in that apartment. But from your guys' perspective, why would I hurt or make the mother of my children? 'Cause you're pissed. I don't know that. Maybe it just happened. I don't know, but more happened, Adam. And I'm not saying that on a whim. I'm saying that based on the last 30 hours that we've spent on this cave. Adam, you gotta live too. And I just think you're holding back here. There's, more. No, I don't know. Maddie and I do not have any history at all, like of violence besides emotional. Unfortunately, that's not what I heard. We've never laid hands on each other or anything like that. So why someone would say that I don't know? I know. I can tell you. I'm struggling because you guys went home. Her I want jacket was in the house. Her bag for work was there. Where was her phone? Did you guys ever find her phone? Yes. Oh, okay. So why would she leave all that behind? And no vehicle is gone. And her jacket is there. I'm stuck there. And then you leave a couple hours later, and I'm just having a hard time with it. Adam, do you know that there's like some zip ties or something in the back of your van? Yeah. What's up with that? I think we have that like in the storage compartment or something like that back there, which has other materials that... Okay. Just stuff that we keep in the van. Okay. What do you use those for? I don't know why I didn't put those there. The tie was something. Oh, maybe her because a couple weekends ago, she took the van up to her dad. Her dad put a new oil pan. She's some kind of major repair you did on the engine. And I know zip tie something. Maddie mentioned he had just zip tie some vacuum hoses or something together. Maybe that's what it was from. But I've never personally timeline is off. And these text messages where you're kind of suddenly worried about her, they don't make sense, and they almost seem like they're intentional. They almost seem like they're breadcrumbs that you knew the police would pick up. That's it. And I'm trying to work with you here again. I'm saying now I'm not going to say much because now my wall is up, and I'm probably going to have to get a lawyer, and I'm doing really good stuff. Okay. I mean, you can ask what you want, and I'll answer. I'm saying I'm putting up my defense now. I've been working with you guys completely, but now I'm getting accused of stuff. So, all I can say to that is, we wouldn't be doing our job. No, I did that too. So only because you were the last one to have seen her. You were the last time. You had access to her car. You went home with her. And so that's why I don't know. I don't, I, I'm just as confused as you guys. You know what I mean? Like, and I know I get it. I'm a thus, back when we recently broke up and everything. I get it. But I'm completely compliant. I mean, right. Yeah, you've been great. You've been cooperative. Absolutely. And I appreciate that. Thank you for that. I'm struggling with where she went. I know you're infatuated with the Gabby Petito story. Your own words. Yep, I was. Yeah, when the man was going. My biggest fear right now is that oh, I get it. This is mimicking that case. I get it. And the guy that's infatuated that case is sitting right in front of me, and he's doing a really good job keeping it together. And I'm not buying it. And I just want to find her for your kids. Like I said, your own admission, you're infatuated with the Gabby Petito story. This case is rearing some eerily similar circumstances. She also said that you made a commentary that if she doesn't listen, that she's going to end up like Gabby Petito. That's what she told several people, and we interviewed those people, and they told us that individually, not having talked with each other. Yep. I know what you're talking about. So this was it's going to come from that. This was when that was going down, when, I don't know when things happen in 20-something like, but I just remember I was infatuated with the case, I was just into the news, and, I can remember it very vividly. I went outside, I think I put trash outside or something came. I came back and then I came up behind her and I hugged her, and I know it was so stupid. I was just trying to make a joke, but I hugged her behind her and I said, "You don't want to end up with Potato, do you?" And I know that was really bad. That was a really stupid joke. It was honestly just a joke. Inappropriate. But yeah, that was that. This was when that was happening. Nothing like that. No, just knew that case was going on. Were you guys joking around that day? Were you not getting along that day? What was it like that day? No, but like I said, it was literally just a joke. It's not a very good joke. I know. And it makes you look bad. I get that. The truth. I don't know what else to say. I appreciate explaining this. Yeah. Right. Yeah. This happened. It was at the townhouse, then townhouse. I don't remember what year. When she told the other people, she said it occurred during a time when you guys were, a possible breakup, and that's when you made that statement. I won't say that. Well, that's what she's saying to her friends. Okay. And you said she doesn't lie, and it sounds like she tells you to your face that she's seeing someone new. So I mean, that's a pretty interesting statement that she's making. And I'm trying to learn about her through her words to other people, through her phone, through her co-workers, through her friends, through her family, through you. And I can tell you that it appears that this relationship was not going super well. To the point that she's wanting to get out of there as soon as possible. I would agree with the last thing you just said about wanting to get out of there as soon as possible, because if that was the case, it would have happened a lot. On June 9th, 2023, police moved in. Adam Fall was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. The man who had tried to deceive investigators. The man who had acted indifferent while Maddie's family searched for her was now in handcuffs. My sister Malene, who's been missing since March 31st of this year from Winona, her ex, Adam Frail, has officially been arrested. Finally, he's been arrested. He is at Winona County Jail right now. And I'm not ready to say a lot right now. We're kind of waiting on some more information right now. But yes, I can confirm he has been arrested. The truth was finally coming to light. With Maddie's remains recovered and the evidence against Adam Frell mounting, prosecutors moved forward with charges of second-degree murder. The courtroom was tense as the case unfolded, with Maddie's family and friends watching closely, determined to see justice served. Prosecutors painted a chilling picture of Maddie's final hours. They argued that Adam had killed Maddie in a fit of rage, fearing that she was about to leave him. Evidence showed that after the daycare drop-off, Maddie never left the house alive. Instead, Adam used her own minivan to dispose of her body, driving 46 miles to Philmore County, where she was later found buried in a remote wooded area. The prosecution presented a damning collection of evidence: Adam's contradictory statements, surveillance footage of him switching license plates, and digital forensic data tracking his movements to and from the disposal site. Testimonies from friends and family detailed Adam's violent tendencies and disturbing threats, including the time he pinned Maddie down and told her she would end up like Gabby Petito. In contrast, Adam's defense team struggled to counter the prosecution's overwhelming case. He pleaded not guilty, denying any involvement in Maddie's death. But his lack of cooperation, refusal to assist in the search, and cold, emotionless demeanor in court only further cemented suspicions against him. Throughout the trial, Maddie's family remained steadfast, showing unwavering strength as they listened to the heartbreaking details of her final moments. They were no longer just grieving loved ones, they were advocates for justice. After weeks of testimony, evidence, and deliberation, the verdict was read. Well, that jury, coming back a little bit after 11 o'clock today to deliver these verdicts on 4 counts. There's first-degree murder, there's 2 counts of that, and then 2 counts of second-degree murder. In the end, for sentencing, it really only matters about sentencing on the top count here. But, this is something that the prosecution said was very much a case about digital evidence. Something you didn't see 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So much about location data and text messages. A lot of the text messages that really illustrated a volatile relationship between Adam Frail and Maddie Kingsbury. And afterwards, her family and her friends all expressed the importance they feel of the work of using this case to help women who are victims of domestic abuse. The weight of the truth had prevailed, and Adam FBL was finally held accountable for taking Maddie's life. For Maddie's family, it was a step toward closure, but the pain of losing her would never fade. Maddie Kingsbury's life was stolen far too soon, but her story does not end with her tragic death. She was more than a victim. She was a mother, a daughter, a sister, and a woman with dreams and ambitions. She was loved by many, and her impact on those who knew her will never fade. While her family found some relief in seeing Adam Fell convicted, their fight is not over. Justice for Maddie is not just about a guilty verdict. It's about making sure no one else suffers the same fate. In the wake of her murder, Maddie's family has become advocates for domestic violence awareness and missing persons cases. They have used their voices to shed light on the warning signs of abusive relationships, urging people to recognize when a loved one may be in danger. When you think of her story of, leaving her kids at the daycare ready to go to work, a mom who loves her children, it just resonates with everyone, and people want to know what happened. They are fighting for better protections for victims of coercive control and intimate partner violence, ensuring that others don't feel as trapped as Maddie did. Her story has sparked conversations nationwide, reminding people that domestic violence doesn't always look the way we expect. That sometimes the most dangerous relationships are the ones hidden behind closed doors. That victims like Maddie don't always get a second chance to escape. And that as a society, we must do more to support those who feel they have nowhere to turn. Though her children will grow up without their mother, they will grow up knowing who she was, how deeply she loved them, and how hard she fought to give them a better life. Maddie's family, friends, and supporters will ensure that her memory lives on, not just as a cautionary tale, but as a symbol of strength, resilience, and the urgent need for change. Maddie Kingsbury was more than just a headline. She was a fighter. She was a mother. She was a light that should never have been dimmed. And as long as her name is spoken, as long as her story is told, she will never be forgotten. This is for Maddie. This is for justice. This is for every woman who never got the chance to escape. If you found Maddie's story impactful, please like, share, and subscribe to help raise awareness for victims of domestic violence. Every voice matters. Every story deserves to be told.